Welcome to Haunted America. I'm the Spirit Connection, and this is where true crime and the paranormal intersect. In this story, we're going to go way back into 1830s New Orleans, Louisiana, to tell you one of the most horrific true crime paranormal stories that you're ever going to hear. Let me introduce to you Madame Delphine LaLaurie. By the 1830s, Madame Delphine LaLaurie had been married 3 times. Her last husband was a physician, and by 1832, they bought this mansion off of Loyal Street in New Orleans, Louisiana. Now, she was well known as a socialite. She was going around in elite circles with politicians and famous people of the day. She had this large mansion off of Loyal Street, and it had a number of staff, including a lot of enslaved people. Now, throughout the years, there had been rumors about how she treated enslaved people because they looked more kind of like haggard and wretched and worn down and abused than most other enslaved people in her house that were kind of like the ones in the kitchen staff and what. Now, on April 10th, 1834, a fire broke out in her mansion. That is when her torture had been exposed. So people came in to rescue everybody at the house from the fire. They discovered a secret torture chamber where they had also discovered a number of enslaved people chained to the walls, a number of mutilated bodies. They were saying that she kind of did things like pull out teeth, rip off fleshes of skin, hook them to chain them on the walls. So after the mansion caught fire, these unfortunate souls were exposed. There was a lot of outrage for the way she treated her enslaved people. And there was a mob that formed and went to loot, tried to attack and get Madame LaLaurie, but she had escaped before then. And the rumors have been that she escaped to Paris, France, and there's unknown whether or not she continued on her murderous. Now, the mansion was eventually rebuilt, and it is said to be one of the most haunted spots in New Orleans, which is one of the most haunted cities. So a number of people, paranormal investigators, anybody that works in the LaLaurie mansion have reported hearing disembodied voices, hearing chains rattling, the smell of burnt flesh. Their report reports shadow figures going across the halls. There's been a shadow figure that people have identified as Madame LaLaurie in her torture chamber. Now, when I tune into this from a psychic medium perspective, it is a mixture of residual energy tied with intelligent energy, since a number of people, enslaved people, have passed away there due to chaotic and traumatic circumstances. I also tune into the energy of, like, there's something out in the courtyard, and I'm seeing like a swirl of energy in the courtyard that almost feels like where some of this manifestation comes from. That was almost like created as a result of the trauma of that taking place there. And there was also a sense of I am getting intelligent haunts, not necessarily restless souls, but people's whose energy and their have been fragmented, and a part of them has stayed there. Now, there's also this very chaotic energy there that it feels like more like a poltergeist energy that was released by the fire in 1834, as well as some of the trauma that has gone on there. Now, the spirits of the LaLaurie mansion deserve to be heard and acknowledged. So if you are brave enough, if you are ready to go on an adventure and acknowledge these souls, you too can book yourself a tour, the U.S. Ghost Tour Adventures in New Orleans. Also, not only get a sight of the LaLaurie mansion, but other well-known historic haunts in New Orleans. So it is only for the brave. It's not for the faint of heart. Let's go pay our respects to these spirits. Make sure that they know that they are still thought about and loved. Go on tour with us Ghost Adventures.